All right, hello everyone. So this is the assignment walkthrough for create a Teespring merch store and link it to your website. That is very much what we're going to do for this assignment. Real quickly though, so much of these tools that we've been using and are going to continue to use, you ought to really think of as entrepreneurial empowerment tools. So think about how this could apply to you and any venture that you might be working on as we go through this. And what this is specifically is Teespring is a print by demand or print on demand service. Printify, Shopify does this. There are other services out there that do this. What this does is this creates a situation where when a user goes to your website and they go to buy a piece of merchandise, all different types of stuff, a t-shirt, a mug, they have jigsaw puzzles, pillows, many different kinds of products. Anything that you can put a logo on, typically, you can find on Teespring for sure. So what happens is you don't have to do like a minimum order of like 100 or 1,000. So you don't have to hold on to them. So you don't have to keep inventory. What will happen is the user will go to your website, they'll click your button, they'll go to your Teespring merch store. They might not even know that they left your website necessarily, and then they can make a purchase from Teespring. It will get delivered right to them. Teespring will take a small percentage. I don't know exactly what it is. You can look into it, but then you'll get your profit, and we'll see exactly what that's going to look like. But then you get your profit margin, right, on your sale. And it all gets saved in Teespring, and you can cash out at a certain point and integrate it with your bank if you want. All sorts of different ways of doing that. But this is a really common way of doing a lot of different business today, and a lot of entrepreneurs do this. This is very similar to the idea of drop shipping. Essentially, it's anytime you're not able to hold on to inventory, you don't have a warehouse, you don't have an apartment, and maybe also you don't have the capital to buy like a 500 minimum requirement order, right? So many reasons why we use this, and this is a really great example. So I'll continue to try to keep these videos short, but I do want to add that context to this because it really is a really incredible thing, and I encourage you to play around with it and to consider how it could apply to you, to any venture that you ever might work on. Merchandising is often important for a lot of different businesses in really getting your brand out there in brand development. Depends on what in getting that brand development, meaning getting those products out there and then getting that feedback from the customers and what do they like, what do they not like, what sells. Anyway, I'm going to get into the assignment now. Trying to keep this quick, like I said. So really simply, I click the link here. I'm go to Spring. This is the Spring here, but it's ultimately the Teespring merch store. So start creating. I think I'm going to actually create a new account here, hopefully in just a second. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do the assignment, and then you can go back and read what is in the assignment description if you haven't already. And I would recommend doing that for sure. Please verify email address. Okay. All right, so there was a slight hiccup with the verification email, but got it all set. And if you have an issue with it, it just took a minute. That's what it was. It just took a minute. So now you will end up here. Don't start by clicking create a product. There's a better thing to do first, because in the assignment, we need to create a store and a product. So first we'll go to stores, and you start here, and we're gonna, first of all, let's change the name of the store, edit store. So in here, well, actually, sorry, exit editor. We can name it here. I'm gonna call it, for this class, the digital tech store. Okay. And when you do that, you have to click save up here. This is the one little tricky thing. When you change your name here, you must click up here to changing the name up there, okay? And then now I can do edit store here. And you can look in the assignment description. I'm really just looking for 3 things on the store side. And the main thing is that it's consistent with your website, like that. You could even think of it, and some people set it up this way, where when people end up going to the Teespring store, they don't even necessarily know that they left the website, right? They think they're still in the original website. So first of all, let's add a logo, and I'll add a logo here. I have recents. See, I have a good logo here, Digital Tech. That's the one from our class, and it'll end up being up in here in this corner. Yep, okay, and that will work. Okay, exit editor. Let's do, okay, one more time, sorry, edit store. But then hero banner. This is what we ought to add, and this is where you can take something from your site, which would be really good, or you can create something in Canva. everyone should be familiar, especially since we at least did the Canva wireframe assignment, with creating images a little bit in Canva. So you can create a logo in Canva if you don't have one already. You can also use AI to generate something. Nowadays, the AI is making pretty good stuff, so you could use that. And so here's this as a banner. I think this one might work better, but let's see. So for sake of time, yeah, see, that doesn't work great, but for sake of time, I'll just leave it, okay? Just for sake of time for this video. But normally you'd want to edit that, okay? And make it look nice, okay? All right, so exit editor. That's what our store, it's not uploaded there yet. We have view store. Oh no, you know what I did? I made the mistake of not clicking save changes. Edit store, see. Okay, so luckily it saved like that. Navigational bar, good. Exit editor, good. Okay, so it did save because you have to click save on this one. This is old school that you have to click save for sure. Okay, and that's good. So we got the logo and we got the hero banner. So the three things is logo, hero banner, and then our product. That's the third thing, right? So now I go create a product. And here is where it's really interesting. Play around with what you can create. It's really interesting. T-shirts, hoodie, sweaters, hats, digital. You can make, I guess, health and wellness stuff. Drinkware, puzzles. See, I would love to make a puzzle. I haven't done it, but it would be fun. Accessories, bags, footwear, jewelry, stickers, stationery, sports and outdoor. That'd be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and for the sake of this example, just make a simple hat. Let me do this one. I also have a logo image that I created with Canva. If you have Canva Pro, then you can get your background removed, which is like what I have for this image that I'm about to upload. You see how it has no background? And that just is, this is all created, this was created with Canva. That's not even the FGCU brand at all, like it was for a different class that I just had put together using Canva. And let's see. So it's gonna give you its suggestion for where it should be and you can play around with it. The only thing is if you make it too big, you won't be able to actually, like there's only a certain, on every product, there's only a certain area that's like printable, which makes sense. So yeah, so then you can change like things, you can choose thread colors, you can change all different kinds of stuff on here, but for sake of time, I'll leave it. Okay, and then this is interesting. You name it, digital tech hat. This is the hat. Or even though it says visual software development, digital tech. Okay, and $33.99. See, I could make it $43.99, $103.99, $13.99. No profit. See, and it will tell us that, which is really great. 45. Maybe do 4. What did it say? Suggested $33.99. Yeah, let's just go with that. Your edit URL handle, that's going to be like new digital tech hat at Teespring something, and then add to your existing store. This is why we want to create the store first so that we could add the product to the existing store, and then we're going to be done with the assignment, just about ready to go. Just about, actually, I take that back. The Teespring side will be done, and then we just have to link it to our website, and that's really a piece of cake. It really, really is. So we'll give this a second. While this loads, in fact, we'll let this load for a second, and then I'm going to go back to, I'm here in Unicorn. Now what I did is I ended up creating 2 buttons here, and you will probably do the same thing. The first thing you want to do is you can ask AI. You could say, I would recommend this. I would recommend finishing the Teespring store first. Where are we at? Still loading. Finish the Teespring store first, and then you're able to take your link and you're able to, in this prompt, be like, add a button labeled merch store, or you can call it whatever you like. You can call it buy now, shop now, whatever. Add a button labeled merch store that directs users to this URL. Okay, and you can do, and then you could go over here, and this is a different store that I had created earlier, but you could take this hypothetically and go right into here and do that. I'm not going to do it because I kind of already did, right? And then you can just right away go and test it. Okay, and by doing that, what you would do is you'd click preview after clicking save, and then you could go and test it, right? The other option is two things. First of all, you're going to run out of AI eventually. You're not going to, you can't, on the free plan that is. So what you might have to do is pick the component that you want to add the merch store, probably somewhere up here. Like this is the entire component, right? So you could do it up here too, but say you wanted to add it here. Right here is the add a button, right? You can add a button and we could say third button. Okay. And then see how there's a third button there. Okay. And so I got rid of it, but notice this. If you are doing it the manual way, let's go back to see where this is. If you are doing it the manual way, you would take your URL from your merch store by copying it here, and you go back to Unicorn and you can just paste it right here. Okay, and then you can go and test it. And that's how it works. It's literally just the label and then the link where it's going to take the people to. And then you could ultimately do the same thing for this. If you're having a hard time adding a button, you can change, you shouldn't, but hypothetically, if you wanted to, you can change this button to say merch store and then put the link in there and not actually add a second button. Either way, I think it makes more sense to have a second button, you know, even though it like maybe the first one doesn't work, but either way, it's fine. This is still loading forever, which is a bummer. I'd love to show you guys this. Sometimes you can do that. It should not take this long, but ultimately you can see this is what a blank one looks like. I might give it a second to see if it doesn't load. View store, let's see. The product didn't get created though yet. Once again, it was the same thing where it just took a second to load. So it actually did arrive here. In order to see it here, I went to the button here, listings, and I was able to see it when it eventually loaded, okay? And then from here, in the listings tab, you can see this is actually the link to your store. And this is what you're going to want to use for Unicorn. So first of all, we'll copy it and we'll go and we'll look at it. And this is it just again. And you can see that obviously it needs to be edited to look nicer. But you can actually see how you could actually go in and add to cart. And I think you can just about check out at this point. Ship to address. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can. And then you would get like an email from Unicorn, or excuse me, from cart, from Teespring saying that a user has placed an order, and you'd actually even get like your profit, and Teespring would take their cut and everything. So that's how this works. What you want to do is you want to take this link from here, okay, and go back over to Unicorn, or yep, and paste it here, okay. So and then save changes, okay. And now you can either have done the route of adding it here like this, or I had just did it the manual way, right? And then when you ask it this, it should give it to you. And then if it doesn't work, say like you gave it to the AI and it didn't work, and say it created the button, but the link didn't work, you'd go in here and you'd go to the button and you'd change the link, or you'd add the link, one of the two, right? If it didn't add the button and you need to add the button, then you'd click this button here to add button, okay? And delete that one. But now again, save changes one more time so I can get to the preview page button. And then now that I'm here, I'll click merch store. Now, for the assignment deliverable, here we are, the assignment deliverable. I can click, I can right now make a screen recording. So most of you got used to doing that from the earlier assignment. I can make a screen recording of this screen right here, and I can just do this. Boom, I'm here on the preview page for the Unicorn, and then I click merch store, and bam, I'm at the merch store. And I'm seeing this, I wanted to see this, I wanted to see this, and I scroll down, I wanted to see this. But then just go ahead and click through it, or at least click to here. You don't have to do add to cart, but just click to here so I could, you know, see the product, right? And that is the number one for option one. A screen recording demonstrating a user clicking the button in your site and it being directed to choosing merch store. That's what I just did, right? And then the part two of that would be a link to your Teespring merch store, either in the text submission or in the comments. So you're going to see a text box entry, a website URL, a media recording, or a file upload. So however it is that you recorded your video last time for option one, then you can go ahead and do that again. And then in one of the other areas, add the link to to your Teespring merch store, okay? Not to your Unicorn page, because I won't be able to see that, because Unicorn doesn't allow that with the free plan, but to your Teespring store, okay? And that would go for the submission for this. So like if I did view as student for option one, say I had my file recorded, so then I would add the file here, and then here I could add the link to the Teespring store. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. And so for option two, really simple, a screenshot showing the Unicorn editor open with your site after clicking the edit component to see the Teespring store link. So that's going to be, if I go back to Teespring. No, excuse me. I'm here in Unicorn. And to get that screenshot, I click, not that button, I click edit component over here. And now I see this, right? I'm adding a screenshot to show what this looks like in at the bottom. You'll see that at the bottom of the description here, or maybe like, yeah, maybe below, maybe probably right here for option 2. And then similarly, you would add that file for the file upload and then a link to your Teespring merch store in the text submission or in the comment, okay? Either one will work as long as I get those 2 things, okay? Either the video and the link, or the screenshot and the link. Okay, so it's a really cool tool. I could talk all day about it, and but you know, we got to keep the videos as short as possible. I know this one went a little bit long, so hopefully you made it all the way through. And yes, so good luck with this one. Reach out as always if you have any questions whatsoever. Okay, bye.